my low-riding hipster jeans. Well, this was it. I was going to wear my thong and win the heart of the cutest boy at the party. Everything was going swell. The cutest boy did notice, but nobody told me about how I would feel like my pants had gone for lunch permanently. I'm talking wedgie for days. And as I fought the urge to adjust my undergarments for the umpteenth time, my composure failed me. As a result, nothing happened. No phone numbers exchanged, no goodbye kiss, just an awkward church-like hug at the end of the party. I could not wait to get home and take it off and return, shamefaced, to the Mothers Union Club.
So, Nani, how old were you when you experienced this trauma?
I think I was 18 years old, fresh out of high school.
So now, what are we saying?
It's about fashion, and fashion is fun, and it's good to try out new things, try out different looks, figure out what works for you and what doesn't, and you make some mistakes along the way, and that's part of life, and that's what even makes, just being a woman also like enjoyable. Of course, this younger generation, because they have Instagram. We had like one, I think, Cosmopolitan, which someone brought in.
Oh, there was only the newspaper.
Shout or an Essence magazine, if your sis was really hip and went to the States. But like you'd get like one magazine that you'd thumb through the whole year. Those also 19 magazines.
Oh.
I'm really going back.
Showing your age.
Showing my age, but so we would get this magazine, and that's what you get your fashion cues from. And music videos. So hence also.
Yeah.
And I think music videos and actually magazines. That was it.
So now what we're saying is take your time.
Take your time, but also have fun. Take those risks, fashion risks. I'm not saying you go and get like let me not see it.
Everybody looks back at photos and thinks, what was I doing?
You don't have to look exactly like whoever, I don't know if it'll be influencers when she's a teenager, but like whoever is like trending at that time, you don't have to look exactly like them. You can pick something small and make it work for you. Have fun with it.
Right now, she's quite bothered that I don't wear heels.
It's a pandemic.
But she's pretty upset that I choose not to wear heels.
Yeah.
I let heels go a long time ago. I feel like daughters do give you pressure about how you look, so she'll check me out in the morning. She'll be like, no heels. I'm like, I don't even own heels anymore.
Yeah.
But that's my pressure that I'm experiencing now. But I imagine at her age and even at that point in your life when you were buying the thong, talking about peer pressure and just about other aspects, not just fashion. It's
impressing boys.
Yeah.
Dressing to impress
It's
boys.
also pressure that you give yourself.
Yes.
And then it's the pressure from your friends.
Yeah.
And then it's the pressure from your family, like your mom, to buy.
No, we didn't even mention we wanted thongs too. Like
But she was pressuring you to buy the Mothers
She was not pressuring, it's just boys. Like
It wasn't a discussion.
It's here is your underwear. Like wear this.
For the next 15 years.
And you will like it. It was not a discussion.
Where should I draw the line? If it was you asking your mom to buy you a thong, it wouldn't have flown.
No.
So for me, am I saying that we go help her buy one?
Yeah. So that she gets a good quality one fast, number one. Yeah. And also that she can come to you and talk to you about stuff like that. Because, people will try different things, and there are things which might not, like getting a tattoo from a dodgy, tattoo artist type of thing. So you want to have that freedom to do even tattoos. Wow, that's a whole story.
This is it's getting deep. But I remember just what you're saying is so true, because I wanted a nose ring when I was maybe 15.
You didn't have one?
I didn't. So I went to my mom and she was like, that's funny. But she bought me a fake one.
Yeah.
That I could clip on. She bought me a clip-on one. And
now you're happy.
Like 6 months later, I was over it. I wanted something else. But that was such a good thing for me and her to do, to go out and buy the clip-on ones. And she'd be like, oh, you look really nice. But she got me away from permanently doing it. So I really agree with that part of, joining her in this mission.
Yeah, making it fun. Something you do together. So Lanta, would you be cool if she came and asked you to go out and buy a thong?
I think with thongs and pretty much everything, I would ask her why she wants it first. She could be wanting it for a slingshot. My child is interesting. I think it depends on the answer she gives me, to be honest. And if she persists, then I would gather courage and
You would do
friends
this.
and I'd take her out and find one. So yeah, I would. Anything else you want to leave us with? Anything you want to say?
Anything I want to say is
To the girls out there.
okay. To our daughters, always wipe front to back, so that
That's my cousin sister, Naliaka. She's not the only person who sent a letter about experiencing these moments as a teenage girl when you're obsessing about your appearance.
Hey guys, I'm Emma.
Emma got in touch when she heard about the show.
For me growing up, body image, how I looked was quite a big theme actually. At school, it was very important to fit in and look like everybody else.
She's 29 now, but when she was 12, she hated her eyebrows.
I've got pale skin, I've got blonde hair, and my eyebrows are, I'd say, probably the most noticeable thing on my face. They are thick, dark eyebrows.
She inherited them from her dad, and while perhaps they suited him, Emma thought they looked a bit masculine on her. She's from Nottinghamshire, in the middle of England.
I'm originally from the countryside, so I had quite a rural upbringing. Lots of field walks and dog walks.
You know Sherwood Forest from the legend Robin Hood? That's Nottinghamshire. Emma spent most of her 20s living in London and has just moved back home. Now she's here to read us a letter about the pressures of looking a certain way.
I guess I have just got to that point in my life where I have started thinking about having children. So this letter is to a future potential daughter. Dear daughter, appreciate and love your thick, dark, wild eyebrows, even if it goes against current beauty trends. Don't shave your eyebrows, don't wax them or bleach them blonde, even if everyone else has their eyes canopied by two thin black lines. When I was 13 in the early noughties, I became obsessed with my eyebrows. It was very popular to have skinny eyebrows that were harsh and angular. I was blessed with a pair of thick, dark statement brows viewed as rather grotesque at school. I'd often hear "slugs" shouted across the corridor between classes, or "have you ever heard of tweezers?" bellowed across the playground. The popular girls at school all had eyebrows to die for. Two neat, slick, dark, symmetrical lines that framed the face perfectly. I had to have them. So one evening, when my parents were out, I raced to my dad's razor drawer and selected my apparatus of choice, a man's razor. I looked in the mirror, blade at the ready, and started to sculpt and shave my beautiful brows, reducing their density by half. I was delighted with the results. I now looked like the other girls and went into school the next day holding my head up high with concealer on my lips, another questionable noughties trend, blusher on my cheeks, and my new preened thin brows with a row of stubble underneath. I felt on top of the world. I did run into a few problems. The maintenance of the brows. It meant stealing Dad's razor in secret and shaving the brows back into shape every other day due to the speed of growth. It just wasn't sustainable. And one day, as I sat across from my mum at a roadside fast food restaurant eating my burger, she looked up at me in horror and said, "What on earth have you done to your eyebrows?" The battle of the brows continued. Years of waxing, threading, and dyeing followed until finally, a certain supermodel, Cara Delevingne, walked onto the scene in 2010 and made big brows beautiful. Thank you, Cara.
Thanks, Emma, for that lovely letter.
That's okay.
And welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Could you just tell me about Cara's eyebrows?
She has these amazingly big, bushy eyebrows, and she became sort of the model of sort of the flavour of the year, and everybody wanted these big, bold eyebrows.
And she has the eyebrows that you hated, that you tried to trim, butcher, cut. So
Yes.
many adjectives of what you tried to do to them. You tried to wax. So much stuff going on. So how lucky are you to have them now?
I feel very blessed that they've grown back, because you're right, I did butcher them and I absolutely love them now.
Have you ever written a letter to them to apologize for all that you put them through? I think that should be one of the letters.
Yes, that is a lovely idea.
So it bothered you a lot while you were younger. Is that what prompted you to write the letter to your future daughter about?
So really what I wanted to pass on to my future daughter is just embrace all of yourself and know that you can decide how you feel about the way you look. It's not up to anybody else. There was so much time put into the way I looked, you know, whether it be eyebrows, hair, makeup, dieting, all these things.
We've all done crazy things to fit in, even in adulthood, I think.
Yes.
It's really something you have to work on.
One of the other things I did in high school was wear a thong and have the sort of string of the thong above my trousers. So I listened to the thong letter earlier on the episode, and I really related to that because it was kind of popular to sit in class and have this sort of pink string above the grey school trousers, which is horrendous.
Why? It makes no sense. And I say that because it was happening here as well, so I don't understand.
A lot of the girls around the age 13, 14 wanted to be looked at by the boys. And I think it was the thing to do to kind of attract that attention. And I really, really related to that letter because you're best off wearing big knickers, big comfortable knickers. You could just enjoy life a bit more.
You spoke about taking, shall we call it taking, stealing, borrowing your dad's razor?
You could say stealing, yeah.
Let's call it stealing. Let's call it what it is. So you stole his razor. Did you even know what you were doing? Because you stole his razor and went to work on your eyebrows. Did he know? Did you know what you were doing? I mean, that could have turned out really badly.
My dad didn't have any idea that I was stealing his razors. I would take them maybe every other day. The same one, I think.
Did you speak to your parents about not liking your eyebrows or what was causing you to feel the way you did about your appearance? And how did they take it?
I didn't speak to my parents about my eyebrows, actually. I kept that a secret. Yeah, perhaps fear or embarrassment around not being okay or talking about the way I looked, which, looking back, I really wish I had have done. And I hope that my future daughter will speak to me about those things.
So Nani's here, our producer.
Yeah, hi.
In Nairobi. Have you experienced the unibrow?
You know, it's so funny. I had the biggest unibrow. Yeah, connecting to the middle, coming down to my eyelids. So when Emma's talking, I'm like, did that? Yep, did that. My sister took me to thread my eyebrows.
How old were you?
It was prom, so I was probably like 14, something like that, around that age. We did one eyebrow, and I cried so much I left without the other. Yeah, threading was so painful. It was so bad.
You had a unibrow,
yeah.
Then I had
one
plucked eyebrow.
One perfect eyebrow, and then one not, and then we had to go back and do it with like a razor. Like now I do threading, but like for me now, that thing of them not going back, like Emma, you're very lucky your eyebrows came back. Mine is a space that didn't quite come back.
So Emma, if your future daughter came to you at 12, 13, 14 and was upset because she's being teased about her own eyebrows and she just wants to shave them off, how would you help her through that? What would you say to her?
I would show her pictures of me, perhaps with shaved eyebrows and my plucked eyebrows, and say, this happened to me. I totally understand how you're feeling, but just know they are beautiful. And then I'd perhaps get her to look in the mirror and talk about how she feels about them. If she hates them, you know, maybe Would I let her shave them? No, I wouldn't. But I would give her this letter, give her a word of warning that she might not get them back if she were to pluck or wax them, and just tell her that they are absolutely beautiful.
So we've had Emma talking about her magnificent eyebrows, and my own cousin Nalyaka on her pink diamante thong. These were such fun conversations to have, thinking back to my own questionable fashion choices, my brief relationship with makeup, and the joys of having my hair braided. Ugh. Looking back, the stakes were so high. Get it right or risk humiliation? I want my own daughter to know that part of growing up is exploring fashion, testing trends, and figuring out what is for you and what is definitely not. It's easy for me to look back in hindsight and laugh at my own journey. But there are adults out there who are crippled by insecurities rooted in their childhood experiences. I might not always be able to protect my child from this, but I want to be the mom who she knows she can talk to, but also the mom who truly listens, doesn't belittle, dismiss, or try to solve it away, but supports and is there for the journey. Besides, fashion and beauty trends come and go. I still regularly raid my mother's wardrobe, so I'll be there to help my child pick timeless classics amongst the trends that she can give her own daughter. And you know what? I hope she'll let me. If you like the show, please leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. And I'd like to ask a favor, please, a small one, actually quite a big one. Please, can you speak to 3 people you know and tell them about Dear Daughter? Show them how to find it and how to follow or subscribe. And then maybe they can tell 3 people that they know, and so on. And talk about Dear Daughter on social media using the hashtag Dear Daughter. Next time, my friend Elle from Zimbabwe will be talking about society's pressure on women to settle down.
I was always raised, you date with the intention of getting married. You must get married. You don't date just for dating. The end goal should always be marriage.
And how she realized her relationship wasn't right.
I didn't feel like myself. It wasn't working for me. And it just felt like a real burden to have to wake up every day and be someone that I'm not.